Hello everyone, in today's tutorial I'm going to show you how you can make this Mylena hair bow with these extra top loops. Isn't that just gorgeous? The finished bow is around just over 4.5 inches or around 11.5 centimeters across, so it's a really good size. So let's get to it. So to make this bow you will need a hot glue gun, a lighter to heat seal the ends of your ribbon. I've got some fabric clips here, or you can use some hair clips if you don't have fabric clips. I've got a needle here threaded with some strong thread, and I've already popped a knot in the end. I'm using a 45mm double pronged hair clip, which I've already lined with some matching ribbon. You can actually attach your bow to anything you like, a headband, an elastic, whatever you fancy. I've got this smaller piece of ribbon, and this is to wrap the centre of the bow. I will show you that when we get to it. I've got my tape measure to measure my ribbon and my Fiskars fabric scissors. So I've already cut my 6 pieces of ribbon to make my bow, plus the extra little strip for the centre. Again, I'll show you that when we get to it. So you'll need 4 pieces here which are all the same length, and then another 2 pieces which are also the same length. So these longer pieces are 1.5 inch wide or 4 centimeters wide, and they are all cut to 21 centimeters in length or 8.25 inches, and that is all these 4 pieces. And then 2 shorter pieces, again the same width, 1.5 inch or 4 centimeter wide, and these 2 pieces are cut to 9 centimeters in length or 3.5 inches in length, and that is these 2 pieces. Taking our lighter, first of all we are going to heat seal all of the raw ends of our ribbon, and what this does is it gets rid of any existing frays, and it also prevents any further fraying. So you need to do that on all of the ends of your ribbon. So all of the ends of the ribbons are now heat sealed, and as you can see I've started pinning some marks on this ribbon, and I'll show you how I did that on this one. So just on the 4 longer pieces you will need to mark in 2 centimeters from one end. So taking your pin and a tape measure or a ruler, 2 centimeters or just under 3/4 inch, and just pop the pin in there. So 2 centimeters or just under 3/4 inch. And that is on all 4 of the longer pieces. Now we're going to start making our folds. So what you need to do is fold your ribbon in half up to the pin. So lining it up to the pin, and then I'm just going to flip it round, and then using a little bit of heat from my lighter on the right side top corner, we're going to now bring up the bottom left corner to meet the top right. So taking this top layer, this shorter flap, taking this bottom left corner and bringing it up and just laying it over this top right corner. And next we're going to bring the longer corner up, so grabbing the bottom left corner and folding it up, and this time we're going to line these raw edges both up, and we want a 1 centimeter overlap. So making sure this corner keeps just over that corner, line up those raw edges, and then I'm just going to show you on my tape measure, making sure that it is 1 centimeter. So like that. So you've got 1 centimeter overlap. This corner is just overlapping this one, and they're all nice and straight lined up along the top. And this is where you can grab a fabric clip or a hair clip and just pop that across there to hold that all in place. And then on the next bit, because these 2 pieces are going to be for the left side of the bow, these 2 pieces for the right hand side of the bow. So on this next bit we're going to do the same again, fold it in half up to the pin, but we're going to fold it in the opposite direction to this one. So again, flipping it this way round. And on this piece we marked the top right corner, and on this one we're going to do the opposite. We're going to just use a little bit of heat and give it a pinch to mark the top left corner. And we're going to grab this shorter piece, this time on the bottom right, and we're going to bring it up to meet the top left. So we're folding it the same way but in the opposite direction this time. So again, overlapping that corner slightly. Again, the longer piece, grabbing the bottom right, bringing it up. This time we want that 1 centimetre overlap. All of the raw edges here lined up. So 1 centimetre, and again, grabbing another clip, we're going to clip that all in place. So you've now got these 2 pieces, but they're both folded in opposite directions. So that is for the left side of the bow. We're now going to repeat the exact same on these 2 pieces, so folding them in the same way, one up toward the right and the other one up toward the left. So now we've got all 4 pieces folded, and now we're going to bring 2 halves together. So these 2 I made first for the left hand side of the bow, holding them so that this piece that's at the front is on the inside, the same with the left side. So this piece here, you can see it's coming over toward the front. So these 2 straight bits, these 2 straight edges are both facing each other in the middle. We're going to overlap the right one over the left. So you're lining this inner edge up with the edge of this piece here. So basically these 2 pieces are overlapping. And all of the raw edges at the bottom are in line. And then I'm going to keep this pinched together with my thumb and finger whilst I remove this clip and re-clip that on there to hold it in place. And I'm going to do the same with the other side. So making sure I hold it all together tightly, because I don't want this corner to come out of place, and re-clip that on there. It has come out slightly, but I'll adjust that in a moment. And then we're going to take one of these shorter pieces, and we're also going to line that up in the middle. So holding it like this, I'm going to take this shorter piece, line it up in the middle, so they're all in line along the raw edge. And then we're going to fold it over and again line it up along the bottom. So making sure it's lined up in the middle and along the raw edges. I'm going to take a fabric clip now just to pop that on there to hold it in place. And that will help when I now remove these clips. So I'm going to remove this one first. I'm just going to reline up that corner and then re-clip that over all of the pieces. And then the same with this side. So I'm keeping it together pinched tightly with my thumb and fingers. I'm going to slide that one out, making sure it's still in line on that corner, and then re-clip that all in place. So that is the left side now ready to sew in the pinch along the bottom. And now we're going to do the same with the other 2 pieces. So picking them both up so that the straighter edges are facing towards each other in the middle, overlapping the right over the left, making sure all the raw edges are in line, keeping it pinched, remove the clip, and then remove the other side clip and re-pinch that in place. And then taking the shorter piece again, this time I'm going to fold it in half straight away, laying it over the top, lining it up with that middle piece, making sure I just pin it in place with this fabric clip first of all. And then I can just take this clip out and clip it over the top. Making sure that corner stays just underlapping that piece there. And then the same with the other side. Reclip that all in place over all of those layers. So that is now the 2 halves ready to sew. So grabbing my needle, threaded with my strong thread and a knot in the end. I'm just going to redouble check that this is all in line before I start making my stitches. So making sure that this corner is just underlapped this piece here and all the raw edges are in line. I'll straighten this side up as we get to it. So we're going to do 10 stitches along this bottom, 2 in this part, 6 in the middle and 2 in the last part. So going in through the top for our first stitch, making sure you catch this top single layer and this folded corner at the bottom. Pull it all the way through to the knot. Coming back up just beside this edge for our second stitch. And now we're going to do 6 stitches in this middle part. So again, going in through this corner, catching all of those layers. That's our third stitch, 4th stitch, 5th stitch, which is just offset from the center. So by eye I can see that this is the center, so this 5th stitch is just slightly to the right of the center. Then the 6th stitch is coming up slightly to the left of the center. I'm just going to remove that clip so I can see where I'm stitching. So that's our 6th stitch, our 7th stitch going in through the top, and I'm just going to go in at an angle so I catch this bottom corner here. It don't matter too much that it's at an angle. So that's our 7th stitch, our 8th stitch coming up through the bottom, making sure you catch this bottom corner, all of those layers through to this top corner. And then 2 more stitches. I'm just going to remove that clip so I can make sure that corner is lined up. So in just beside the edge of this middle bit. That's our 9th stitch, and then our 10th and final stitch coming up through the bottom to the top, catching that folded corner and the top corner. So I can remove all of the clips now and the pins. And now we can pull in that stitch in so that that pinch starts to form. And then once you've got that in there nice and tight, just go in through that last edge, catching a few layers of the ribbon. And then on the second go in, before you pull it completely tight, just go through this loose loop a couple of times and that will form a knot to hold that pinch in place. So we can trim off that excess thread. So that is 1/2 of the bow now done. And now we're going to stitch the other half in exactly the same way, 10 stitches. So we have our 2 halves of our bow now ready to join together. So I've got my hot glue gun here. I'm going to place some hot glue along that middle pinch. Oh God, I've got the shakes today. And then we're going to join the 2 halves together. So lining them up like that. I'm just going to hold this there for a minute just to make sure that glue is set. And then we can grab our hair clip or whatever you're attaching your bow to. So I've got this one that I already lined earlier, and this center strip here, which I show you at the start of the video, and it is 6 centimeters in length, 1.5 inch wide or 4 centimeters wide. I'm now actually thinking this might not be long enough, because as you can see the center of this bow is quite wide, so I'm not sure if I will get that round and have enough space to wrap it around the clip. So I'm going to cut another piece at 7 centimeters in length instead, and then I can always trim off the excess if it's too long, but obviously if it's too short we can't add ribbon on. So yeah, I'd rather it be a little bit too long than too short. So yeah, this piece for the center is now 4 centimeters or 1.5 inch wide, and it is cut to 7 centimeters in length, or just under 3 inches in length, about 2 3/4 inches. Taking my lighter, I'm going to make this into like the sort of twisty center. So taking one end, holding on both corners, I'm going to push both corners in opposite directions to form this Z fold, and then lay it flat. And then using the heat from my lighter, I'm going to heat seal the edge at the same time as melting the fibres to form a glue to hold that end together. And then I'm going to do the same on the opposite end, so turning it round, grabbing the 2 corners, pushing them in opposite directions to form that Z fold, laying them flat down over each other, heat sealing and also melting the ribbon to form a bond. And then when you pull this tight, you end up with this lovely little twist to go around the center of the bow. We need to add our clip first of all, so popping some hot glue along the clip, and I'm going to place this on the underside of my bow. And then taking my center, I like to pop a little bit of glue just over the join first of all, just to keep that covered. Pull that center, lay it over the middle, making sure it's in line, and then bringing it round the underside of the bow. Want to make sure that it is central before I glue it down, which it is. Yeah, so I probably would have gotten away with the 6 centimeters, but yeah, we've just got that little bit extra to play with now. I might just trim a little bit off actually, but like I said before, I'd rather cut it slightly too long and have a little bit to cut off than have it too short, because you can't add on, and obviously I need to then rebond those fibres. So just melting those fibres and just give it a pinch, being careful not to burn your fingers, and don't burn your bow also. You don't want to burn the ribbon on the actual bow after all that hard work. So yeah, be very careful. Right, moving the ribbon out of the way of the bow, I'm just going to pop a little bit of glue under there just to give it some extra staying power. And then across that end tab, and start to stick that side down underneath that clip. And then turning it around, moving the hair bow out of the way so I don't get any glue on it. Again, I'm just going to pop some glue inside there just to make sure it stays across the end, and then stick that half under the clip also. And then I just want to hold that there for a few seconds to make sure that glue has fully set. I don't want to shut my clip just yet and then risk gluing my hair clip shut, which I have done before. Getting rid of any excess glue, any overspills. And then when we flip this over, you will need to just neaten up your bow after wrapping the centre. And there is your finished Mylena style hair bow with those extra added top loops. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial today. If you did, please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and if you press the bell button, that will turn on notifications, and I'll be back again soon with another tutorial. Bye for now.